Barbados reaping some success from efforts to tap into the Latin American market. A town hall meeting puts the spotlight on crime. And in sports, more arrests in the FIFA corruption scandal.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. This is the CBC Evening News. Barbados is making inroads in the Latin America market, tapping into Colombia. The inaugural flight of Colombia airline Avianca touched down last evening to a warm welcome at the Grantley Adams International Airport, as we hear from Kishmar Singist.
An historic moment in aviation and tourism for Barbados. A direct flight linking the island with Bogota. This new service will be in operation on Wednesdays and Saturdays between the El Dorado International Airport and the Grantley Adams International Airport. A welcoming party, including the acting Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Richard Sealy, was on hand to welcome the flight. He extended thanks to all of those who were instrumental in making it a reality. He says the aircraft, an Air 318 with 100 seats, is perfect for Barbados.
It means that we don't have to work as hard as you will have to work, for example, to fill a 777 or any other wide-bodied aircraft. We can keep this airline going if we can, as Director Arthur told me, 10 operators and take 10 seats each and the plane is full. And that in itself is good, because we want to make sure that the flight can remain viable.
Mr. Sealy says Avianca is considering making a daily service from Barbados, and he wants officials here to do all that they can to make that a reality. The tourism minister sees potential for a cargo service through Avianca.
The aircraft may not have the largest fuselage, but they can certainly handle some air cargo, and we want to also encourage that. Hopefully more will be going out than coming in. We'll be exporting more than importing. We don't need to exaggerate the trade imbalance with Colombia. But the point is that there is that legitimate business activity as well that can occur.
The Grantley Adams International Airport is the 6th airport serviced by Avianca in the Caribbean. The airline flies from Bogota to Aruba, Curacao, Havana in Cuba, and Punta Cana and Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Avianca officials present say the new flight adds to its over 100 destinations, and passengers here can make connecting flights to other destinations. Kishmar Singist, CBC News.
An increase in the number of amputations at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital over the past 5 to 10 years has forced the creation of a new lifestyle program. The National Disabilities Unit has produced a workshop to create lifestyle awareness. Facilitator of the workshop, Jaleesa Robinson, says diabetes has been a common cause for amputations, so the unit saw it fit to address the topic of lifestyle changes. She was speaking at the workshop entitled Inclusion Matters, Amputee Awareness and Empowerment, which is part of the activities for World Disability Day.
We invited a nutritionist who are going to speak to the participants in relation to healthy food choices, because we know that majority of the persons who have received amputations got it as a result of being diabetic. So hence why we decided to invite a nutritionist.
Ms. Robinson says participants have been selected from the National Disabilities Unit and the Barbados Amputee and Rehabilitation Society. She says prosthetic awareness is also a challenge for amputees.
A number of persons I have talked to who are amputees said that they did not receive pre and post counseling, hence why we decided to bring someone in to speak to persons on the psychological recovery process. We also brought in a physiotherapist to help persons to see that despite the fact that they are confined to a wheelchair, they would be able to take part in various exercises to keep themselves fit and active.
Well, despite the overcast skies, members of the disabled community gathered at the Parliament building in the city for a walk to Independence Square. It was all part of their World Disability Day celebrations. Over 75 people took part in the walk, and coordinator Joycelyn Brathwaite says this event is a means for the public to become accustomed to seeing members of the disabled community. Rehab technician at the Challoner School, Alison Seeley, is encouraging the public to speak to the disabled and their families rather than stare at them.
Even when their family or friends are taking them places, we get the dirty looks when we get out of the car in the disabled space, and in the parking lot, and then they don't necessarily come out the same time. We get a lot of dirty looks for being here to help our brothers and our sisters.
Also present for the World Disabilities Day walk, Member of Parliament Edmund Hinkson. He says disabled people need legal rights, especially in the areas of education and employment. Barbados can no longer afford to lose its youth to crime. With this in mind, Restoration Ministries has stepped in to help by convening a town hall meeting to find ways to combat crime and violence in communities. Director of the Criminal Justice Research and Planning Unit, Cheryl Willoughby, says a collaborative effort is needed to deal with the issues affecting young people.
Government cannot solve this problem alone. It is not a government problem. It is a societal problem. We have a number of social problems, which I believe the genesis is with the family, and in order to effectively deal with them, we have to start at the root of the problem.
Attorney at law Verla de Pisa says it's important to identify the triggers of crime. She says society should never close the doors to those who are not academically skilled.
If you fall outside of that circle, then chances are you will be looking for what the rest of us will consider an antisocial solution to your existence. That is critical, because I do believe that that is one of the initial starting points for deviance in young persons, which then carries over almost 100% of the time to criminality.
Former MP Hamilton Lashley wants the section of the judicial system that relates to some petty crimes overhauled. The community practitioner is also calling for more resources to develop the community policing arm of the Royal Barbados Police Force.
So all y'all know here that when you used to got the community policemen in the communities, crime was at its minimum. There was a relationship between the people and the police force. We tend now to put the resources behind the action arm, the men in blue. When a crime happens, send in the men in blue. We can prevent crime from happening by having a holistic social intervention program involving the church, involving the communities, involving the real escape artists in Barbados, the business sector, because there is only resources in terms of what could benefit your business.
The Barbados Archives Department can now add the 100-year-old records of Bico Limited to its inventory. The records, which begin from the company's establishment in 1901, are not only a boost to the Archives Department, but also to the University of the West Indies. History lecturer at UWI Cave Hill, Dr. Henderson Carter, says the donation will help his Barbados Business History course at the UWI.
These records are a healthy addition to this course that we're teaching. And now the archives will have custody of these records. Our students can venture to the archives and study Bico, study the life of the company, study the entrepreneurs who ran the company. And I'm sure that some of those entrepreneurs, like W.L. Johnson, had their own businesses. E.T. Raka had their own businesses as well. So this is a very important addition.
Executive Chairman of Bico Limited, Edwin Thurwell, says he is pleased to give the records over, knowing that they will be put to good use.
And it says very clearly here, the Barbados Ice Company Limited, minutes of directors, 12th of September 1901, This particular book covers the period up to the 30th of July, 1908. So we are really delighted that, you know, we know what we have, we know that we are not in a position to do very much with them, and we felt that we would like to pass them into good hands, because it's not very often that you find a company with such a complete set of records from the starting up period.
And the Barbados Archives Department is putting a digitization program in place. This was revealed by Acting Chief Archivist Ingrid Thompson. She believes the move is necessary because of the importance of some of the documents.
All the records we have at the Archives Department are important, but there are some records that are critical in terms of the whole Barbadian landscape, to our history and to our survival. So what we're going to do is identify those critical records and have a digitization program put in place. We're going to do this next financial year. And we're going to have backup copies, because right now we have a lot of our records are unique records and they're not available elsewhere. So that is what we're looking to do.
Well, some residents of St. Joseph are being advised to expect low water pressure or outages tomorrow. The Barbados Water Authority says there will be a full shutdown of the spring main along Bathsheba. The shutoff is related to the main's laying program. It will be conducted from 9 in the morning until 9 in the night. The BWA is encouraging residents to store an adequate amount of water to be used during the shutdowns. And there will also be a shutdown of the system along Roebuck Street, the city, on Saturday from 7 in the night until 7 in the night the following day. The BWA says it regrets any inconvenience caused.